Have you ever thought about bettering yourself but felt like it would take forever? The truth is, bettering yourself doesn't have to be a long, painful process. In fact, the fastest way to start bettering yourself can happen in under 2 minutes. Yes, under 2 minutes. And that's exactly what this video is about. Here's the kicker. Most people waste their lives waiting for the right time to work on personal growth at work, to reset their life, or to finally build better habits. They get stuck in overthinking everything, searching endlessly for the best pieces of advice for life, or struggling with questions like how to get control of my life and how to enjoy life again after depression. The brutal reality: waiting kills progress. But shifting your perspective, even in a tiny window of time, can flip the switch instantly. If you've ever thought, I need to better myself, but where do I even begin? You're in the right place. In this video, you'll discover a counterintuitive, almost sneaky way to change perspective, find habits of health that stick, and learn tips to stay happy that actually work in real life. This is self-development for men and women alike, grounded in real-life advice, focused on self-improvement, and packed with ways to improve mental clarity right now. And the best part? By the end, you'll realize that becoming self-aware and defining goals doesn't start with giant leaps. It starts with small, powerful moves that take less time than brushing your teeth. The power of small shifts. Most people think personal development has to be a grand event, like moving to another country, quitting your job, or spending hours in self-control therapy. But the truth is, bettering yourself often starts with the tiniest shifts. Imagine waking up tomorrow and instead of scrolling endlessly, you write down one thing you're grateful for. That simple action takes less than a minute, yet it begins training your brain to change perspective and focus on a meaningful life instead of drowning in comparison. He's seen countless men and women ask, "How to reset my life?" expecting some dramatic answer. But the best pieces of advice for life are usually practical and bite-sized. If someone wants ways to stop overthinking everything, a good start might be taking one deep breath and asking, what's the very next step I can take? That pause, that question, is a small shift toward mental clarity, productivity, and ultimately gaining self-respect. Here's the beauty of small shifts. They build momentum. One tiny habit, like drinking a glass of water before coffee, can lead to better habits of health. A single reflection in the mirror saying, "I'm focused on self-improvement," can spark self-awareness skills you didn't even know you had. And once these micro-actions compound, they create a ripple effect into personal growth therapy, social-emotional learning skills, and even personal growth at work. But there's another hidden element to this process that most people overlook. Defining clear goals. When it comes to self-improvement, drifting without direction is like sailing without a compass. You move, but you don't really get anywhere. Defining goals gives structure to bettering yourself, turning vague wishes like, "I need to better myself," into clear action. For example, instead of saying, "I want to be healthier," a sharper goal would be, "I'll walk 20 minutes every morning before work." That's how productivity and habits of health are built in real life. Too many people set goals that sound inspiring but lack clarity, and then they wonder why they lose motivation. Personal growth therapy teaches us that goals for therapy must be concrete, measurable, and deeply connected to what makes life meaningful. Someone struggling with how to get control of my life doesn't just need inspiration, they need a roadmap. A simple structure like writing down 3 priorities for the week can be the anchor that helps them reset their life and gain self-respect along the way. He often reminds people that the importance of goal setting isn't just about achievement, it's about identity. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, even something small like drinking water or finishing a book, you reinforce self-awareness skills. That's how you stop overthinking everything and start moving. And once you've learned to define goals clearly, there's a next step even more powerful than setting them. It's learning how to stick to them when life tries to pull you off track. Building better habits that stick. Everyone says they want better habits, but most people treat habits like New Year's resolutions, big promises that fade in a week. The truth is, bettering yourself doesn't happen through giant leaps. It happens through daily consistency. A man who wants self-development for men, or a woman seeking ways to improve mental clarity, both benefit from the same principle. Start small, repeat often. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't debate whether to do it, you just do it. He likes to tell people that habits of health are like compounding interest. Imagine someone who wants to enjoy life again after depression. Instead of expecting an overnight transformation, they commit to walking 10 minutes each day or journaling 3 lines every night. These may feel insignificant at first, but over time they create lasting self-awareness skills, personal growth at work, and even social-emotional learning skills that reshape how you see yourself. Of course, forming habits isn't just about repetition, it's about environment. If you want to practice self-control therapy, don't rely on willpower alone. Put your phone in another room when you sleep, or prep healthy snacks before hunger strikes. These simple tweaks make it easier to stick with better habits. And once the right routines are in place, they become automatic, freeing up energy for something deeper. The emotional resilience to keep pushing forward when life doesn't cooperate. Mastering emotional resilience. Life has a way of throwing curveballs: stress at work, broken routines, relationships that test your patience. Without resilience, even the best pieces of advice for life feel useless. But with resilience, bettering yourself becomes possible no matter the storm. Think of it as your inner armor. You might feel the hit, but it doesn't break you. This is where self-control therapy blends with social-emotional learning skills, giving you the power to manage emotions instead of being managed by them. He's often asked, "How do I enjoy life again after depression or setbacks?" The answer isn't pretending pain doesn't exist, it's facing it with new tools. Real-life advice here might be as simple as practicing mindfulness for 5 minutes, writing a forgiveness letter you never send, or calling a friend when you'd rather isolate. These aren't cliches, they're ways to stop overthinking everything and start living again. Emotional resilience helps people gain self-respect and become self-aware in ways they never imagined. And here's the secret: resilience isn't just personal, it's practical. At work, when a project fails, the resilient person sees it as personal growth therapy in disguise. At home, when plans collapse, they practice better habits by adapting instead of spiraling. This mindset builds a meaningful life, rooted in self-improvement and fueled by tips to stay happy. Yet resilience alone isn't the final piece, because once you've built it, you need to channel it into something bigger that keeps you moving forward. Turning growth into purpose. At some point, bettering yourself stops being just about you. It becomes about impact. Personal development isn't only about how to make you happy or how to reset my life. It's about channeling that growth into something bigger: purpose. Imagine someone who's been focused on self-improvement, building better habits, and gaining self-awareness skills. Now, instead of asking, "I need to better myself," they start asking, "How can I use what I've learned to help others?" That's when personal growth takes on a deeper meaning. He's seen people use small shifts, clear goals, and resilience not just to survive but to thrive. A man who once sought self-development for men begins mentoring a younger coworker. A woman who asked, "How to get control of my life?" starts teaching her children social-emotional learning skills. These aren't grand gestures, they're everyday actions that transform personal growth at work and at home into lasting legacy. That's how defining goals becomes living them. The truth is, tips to stay happy and ways to improve mental clarity feel incomplete unless they're tied to contribution. Real-life advice says, the best pieces of advice for life aren't just about you, they're about creating ripples. Personal growth therapy becomes more powerful when shared, and goals for therapy evolve into goals for community. Bettering yourself is the first step. Living with purpose is the leap. And once you grasp this, the final question is, how do you make sure all these lessons stick long after this video ends? So, let me ask you this. After everything we've just walked through, what's stopping you from bettering yourself right now? You've seen how small shifts can reset your life, how defining goals gives you clarity, how better habits create momentum, how resilience keeps you standing, and how purpose makes all of it meaningful. The only question is, will you apply it, or let it slip away like another nice idea that never left the screen? Imagine how different your days would look if you stopped overthinking everything and started practicing just one of these steps today. Which piece hit you the hardest? The power of tiny actions, the importance of goal setting, or the reminder that self-development for men and women alike begins with purpose? Drop it in the comments. Because the truth is, Interaction sparks reflection, and reflection is the engine of real self-improvement. Now, if you want to keep learning how to gain self-respect, improve mental clarity, and discover the best pieces of advice for life, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. That way, you'll always have fresh tools for personal development, personal growth therapy, and tips to stay happy right at your fingertips. Bettering yourself starts in under 2 minutes, but continuing to grow? That's a journey we'll take together.